In our video, we're going to take a look at how to do just a basic extrusion. So let's get started. We're in Fusion. The first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and save the part. So I'll go up here and hit save. And for this part, I'm just going to put part 1. And I need to find the location on my computer. So I'll click this down arrow. And I'll probably just go ahead and start with a new project. And I'll put my name in there. And I'll press enter. And it'll create that project for me. And I'll go over here and kind of select it. Now I'm in there. So I'll just save it as part 1. So I'll save. Okay, now the part's saved. So let's go ahead and get to drawing. Very important. We need to go ahead and get in good habits. And we'll go to Assemble. And we'll say New Component. So I went to Assemble and said New Component. I'm going to go ahead and name the component. I will leave it actually as Component 1, and I'll click OK. Now, you see how over here I created a component. It's very important for us as we move forward. I'm going to hit New Sketch here, and I'm going to pick one of these. These are work planes. We draw in a work plane. We'll get more on that later. But for now, I'll pick this one. And I'm just going to start by drawing a rectangle. I'll start on the origin, that's the center. And I'll just draw a square. You'll notice as I draw the square, it kind of starts defining sizes based on where I am with the grid. That's all that grid paper out there, right? So I'll draw us a square. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch up here, or I can press the E key because I'm going to extrude it. Here is Extrude. I'll drag this arrow. And I can actually define what I want it to be. I'll go ahead and leave everything as 2 inches this time and click OK. So there's a basic extrusion. Now I want to do what's called a multiple extrusion though. So I'll go back to New Sketch up here. And I'll just click on whatever side I'd like to draw on. So over here I'm just going to take and I'll select the circle tool here. And I'm just going to draw a few circles with varying sizes. It's not really a big deal what size these things are. I'll go ahead and hit Finish Sketch. And this time I'm going to click every circle that I just drew. Oh, actually, I'm going to click Extrude first. And then I'll click the circles. And I'll click the arrow. And I'll just kind of drag them out a little bit and click OK. So I'm going to do another side. So I'll hit New Sketch. I'll hit Create Sketch. And I'll click another side. And again, I'm just going to draw a series of circles. I'll go ahead and hit Finish Sketch. And I'll go to Extrude. And I'll click all those circles again. And I'll drag the arrow out just however far I want to go with it. And I'll click OK. I'll go ahead and hit New Sketch again. Pick a different side. And this time, instead of circles, I'm just going to pick some squares. Or rectangles rather. And I'll even throw in a circle on here. Something like this. I'll hit Finish Sketch, or this time you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to press the E key to go straight to Extrude. So now I'm in Extrude already. See how the menu popped up? So now I'm just going to click the shapes I drew. I don't look like I got that one. And now I'll click this arrow and drag them out however far I want. So for your assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to take this cube and you're going to do the other 3 sides. So in other words, you're going to call me over to grade this after you have something on all 6 sides. Let's take a look at part 2 of this video though. Now I'm going to go back up here to part 1 and I'm going to activate the whole thing. Very important. So now I'll go up to Assemble and say New Component. And it'll be Component 2 and I'll click OK. You notice how that it came underneath of part 1. That's actually where we want it. So now I'm going to hit New Sketch up here and I'll just find a plane I want to draw on. And I'm going to do kind of a similar project. This time I'm going to draw, some sort of square. And I'll go ahead and press the E key to extrude it. And I'm going to go back into Sketch again, and this time I'm going to take some circles. It should look really familiar, right? It's kind of similar to what we just did. But this time I'm going to hit Finish Sketch or press the E key. I'm going to go to Extrude. I'll click the circles, and I'm just going to pull them back. I'm going to actually do a cut. Did you notice over here how this changed from join, like we did last time, to cut this time? So I'll put holes in. Alright, so I've got those. Now I'm going to pick a different side. I'll click New Sketch. And I'll come over here and I'll draw my circles. This time I'm going to draw a couple outside the box. And I'm going to finish sketch and hit extrude up here. Now I can just press and click on the wheel of my mouse, and that allows me to pan and move it around. So now I'll click on the circles, and I'll drag the arrow through, and it'll cut again. And then I'll go to one final side of this, and I'll put more circles in and cut those. When you're done, call me over to your computer and we'll grade both at the same time. But remember, as you're done, notice this little star right here. That lets us know we haven't saved yet. So let's go over here to this disk and press save.